Okay, we are live. We are live. So just want to go ahead and make sure everybody comes in. Okay, I'm going to give it a couple of seconds before we get started. And today I have a interesting topic. Right, I'm going to show you why your manager. I'm going to show you some things that your manager does not want you to know. This is going to uh, this is going to shock a lot of people who's watching because you're missing so much money on the table right now, so much money that you're not taking advantage of. And this is something your manager does not want you to know. I'm going to give you guys a lot of gems. And one of my students, he was able to make an extra, uh, I'll say, a couple of dollars. I'm not going to go too crazy. But he was able to actually make some more money that he had no idea that was available to him. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started. So, thank you everybody for joining. Thank you everybody for joining. Type a 1% in the chat if you guys can hear me. Type a 1% in the chat if you guys can hear me. This is going to be a little bit engaging. I'm going to make sure you guys actually leave with something that you can apply to help you make some more money. So go ahead and type a 1% in the chat if you guys are good to go. Okay, Cam, I see you on YouTube. It's good to see you again. Nice. Fabian. Okay, John. Nice, nice, cool, cool, nice. All right, cool. Let's get straight to it. So, if you guys don't know already, my name is Tayo. And if you're in IT right now, if you're in help desk, if you're making six figures, if you're looking to get into tech, this live is for you. Okay, so in the next 45 minutes, I'm gonna expose some of the things your manager, your HR department, and your company are praying you never figure out. It's actually pretty insane. And so this is the stuff that took me personally from 65K to 180K. The stuff my students use to break the 150, right, to $200,000 a year, sometimes even more. Okay, so I actually figured out how to share my screen. Funny enough, I'm in tech and I don't know how to share my screen. Right, I'm just kidding. I figured out how to share my screen on this specific app because it's actually a bit different. And so I'm going to go ahead and first off, right, talk is cheap. Let me go ahead and share some of the things I'm talking about. Let me actually see. Okay, cool. Testing, testing. You guys there? Testing, testing. I had my IG, literally everything go off. Can you guys hear me? Type of 1%. Let me go ahead and get Instagram back up and running. I tried to share my screen and the whole thing broke. That was insane. And so that's going to be something I'm going to have to figure out a little bit later. And so let me see if I'm still on Instagram. Literally my whole application broke when I tried to go live. Let me go ahead and get Instagram back up and running. I tried to share my All right, so Instagram
And
is
the whole thing broke. That's
Instagram is good to go. So, um, let's see. So I'm not gonna be able to see you guys on Instagram just because how this is working, but nonetheless, let's go ahead and continue. And so let me go ahead and pull Instagram up here. All right, cool. Can you guys hear me? Right? Can you guys hear me? Good to go. Type of 1% in the chat. You guys good? Cool, cool. Nice. So this is something that took me from 55K to 180,000 all the way to, and some of my students, this is the thing that they use to break past that 150, that 200K income ceiling and sometimes more. So this was actually something I wanted to show you in terms of some social proof, but I was just going to show you my Instagram page. If you go to my highlights, you'll be able to see some of the offer letters that my students have been able to receive, right? Because talk is cheap, but it's more powerful if you have, some evidence to go back to back up what you're saying. And so staying to the end, I'm going to show you exactly how to escape. So let's get into it. So your company has a budget for your role. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. And this is going to be very engaging. So I'm going to ask type of 1% in the chat. But I want to be super clear, right? Your company has a budget for your role. Type of 1% in the chat if you guys are following along. Okay, I want to make sure you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. I don't want to just be talking my head off, feel like I'm talking to myself. Nice. Cool, cool. I see you on YouTube. Nice. Type of 1% in the chat if you guys are following along. Nice. Cool, cool. Your company has a budget for your role and it's about 30% higher than what they're paying you right now. Did you guys know that? It's crazy. When I figured this out, I was pretty angry. I'm just kidding. But I know this because I've been in the rooms. I've seen the spreadsheets. I've sat in the meetings where they decide what to pay people. Okay? And every single year, you don't negotiate. Every year, you stay loyal and just accept what they give you. That's 30% that goes back to the company. And it's not like it disappears, it goes into someone else's pockets. How many of you guys would like that money to go back into your pocket? Type of 1% in the chat. Type of 1% in the chat. How many of you guys would actually like that extra 30% that you're leaving on the table, that money can go into your pocket? Okay. Okay. Nice. Nice. Cool. And so, if you really think about it, right, depending on your pay, but over 5 years, that can be anywhere from 70,000 all the way to $150,000 that you gave away for free, for free, just because you didn't ask. Now, you'd be surprised. I had a student when he got an offer letter. I forgot the raise he got. I think it was like I forgot the raise. I don't even know how much of more money he made. But literally, he got that amount of money just because he asked. Ain't that crazy? It is actually insane, right? Everybody that's joining, welcome. I'm glad that you guys are joining. I'm sharing you guys, what your managers don't want you to know, and you're leaving a lot of money on the table. So let's get back to it. You know, leaving almost around $150,000 on the table like you just gave it away because you just didn't ask. Okay. But here's the part that's going to make you guys sick. Okay. They expect you to negotiate. Like, I can't stress this enough. Type of 1% in the chat if you guys are hearing me. I cannot stress this enough. They expect you to negotiate. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Okay. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Jaden, I see you. Nice. I got you with your question in a second. Okay. They expect you to negotiate. It's literally built into the system. Okay. When you don't, they celebrate. That money's going to somebody's pockets. I don't know about you, but I don't want that money to go back in my pockets. So I'm not going to be afraid to ask. Now, there's a certain way to ask. You don't want to just, you don't want to be arrogant about it, right? Or like kind of go about it the wrong way, have a bad attitude, right? Oh, I know you got money, so why isn't it? No, you don't want to do that, right? And so, like when you don't ask, they celebrate. And I've seen managers literally high five each other because someone accepted the first offer that they gave out. It's crazy. It's literally crazy. And so you're not being humbled, you're subsidizing someone else's raise. I took some time to write that little bar. Trust me. You're not being humble, you're subsidizing someone else's raise, honestly speaking. And so drop a 1% in the chat if you ever accepted the first offer they gave you. Honestly speaking, my first offer letter, I was making $55,000 at the help desk, and they're like, "Hey, yo, 135." It was my first round interview. My first interview. It was only one round. It was 30 minutes, 15 minutes him asking me questions, 15 minutes me asking him questions. 2 hours later, I got my first offer letter for $135,000. I almost tripled my income. I was living with my parents at the time. I went downstairs. I'm like, "Mom, we rich." Literally, we are rich. Man, what? You couldn't tell me nothing. Okay. And look, as soon as they said 100, I said yes. They could have said $100,000. I said yes. I said 35. You giving me 35? My main point is, even me myself, I accepted the first offer that they gave me. Top of 1% in the chat if you've ever accepted the first offer they gave you. You say, "Yep, okay, yeah, I see you, John." You say, "Yep, making 40K as a tech right now." I was making, you doing better than me. I was making $35,000 as an IT technician. Man, it was insane. It was the worst job I've ever had in my life. It was crazy, but it was the best job because, put fire under me, and I'm still using that fire to this day. Okay, so how many of you guys are picking up what I'm putting down? Okay. ISO Technology, I see you on IG. Andrew, cool. Right? Or Mark, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. Nice, cool. Let's get into it. So, you got, right? It's like you probably, your raise was probably 3%, and probably they did like a performance review. You got to exceed expectations on your last performance review, and they raised your salary for like 3%. And let me explain what just actually happened to you. Your company has a raise budget, and it's usually 3 to 4%, right? That's it. That's all they're giving out. That 3 to 4%. But how many of you guys actually know the average rate of inflation every year? Type in the chat. Type in the chat. I'll drop my IG. I see you guys on YouTube. I'll drop my IG. It's Tayo Lucy, Tayl. How many of you guys know what the inflation rate, like average inflation rate per year? Okay, anybody? All right. So I'll say this because I'm not gonna. So okay, I see 12%. A wild guess around 6%. Okay, I've seen different rates from 4% to 7%. Okay, Jaden, you just said 2.4%. Okay, Jaden, it's funny. I know you just Googled it, right? Because I did too. Because I ain't know the answer. Nah, but I've heard people say around 4. I've heard people say about 7. Honestly speaking, I have no idea. I don't look into inflation. I know that, but what I do know is that even if they do give you a raise, you know, inflation is eating is your every year if you get a raise, literally, and don't do, like, you're actually getting poorer. The purchasing power of your dollars, right? You're actually getting poorer if you do the math. And so I don't remember the average yearly inflation rate. I just remember seeing it though. I remember seeing it and telling myself like, wow, we're actually getting poorer. If I got to figure something out. This was back in 2022. This was back when I was making my when I was an IT technician. And so it is insane. Every single year, right? If you follow the system, if you follow what they're telling you to do, go to work, sorry, go to school, get a job, retire in your 60s, like it is insane. That is the biggest scam I've ever heard in my life. It is actually insane. It is actually insane. And every year you're getting poorer. There has to be another way. How many of you guys would like to know another way, another route to this? Because it's not rocket science. It's just actually asking the question. There has to be a better way. Type of 1% in the chat, right? Cool, cool. Type of 1% in the chat. You said, what should I learn if I want to become a cloud engineer? I'll answer all the questions towards the end. So just stick around. I got you. I got you. Cool. Nice. Nice. So let's get into it. Now, I want you guys to first understand something. Like, you have to understand the game. Here's the game. The top performer and the guy who does absolutely bare minimum. The same raise pool. There's a pool of that they pull money from. There's a budget, right? The same raise pool. You crushed it all year. You stayed late. You hit every deadline and you went above and beyond. And your reward, an extra 0.5%. Maybe. And the difference between exceeds expectations and meets expectations is literally a few $100s. That's what your excellence is worth to them. Are you guys picking up what I'm putting down? Type of 1% in the chat if you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. So who actually got the raise? Who actually got the raise? The person who left. They got a new job. They got a new company. That's where that 20, 30, 50% raises come from. Not from being loyal. Not from being good at your job. But it's from leaving. Okay? It's from leaving. You don't want to just quit your job. There's actually a way to go about it, but that's a whole different story. Loyalty is a pay cut, but mobility is a raise. Write that down. Loyalty is a pay cut, but mobility, being flexible, mobility is a raise. Write that down. How many of you guys have ever gotten exceeds expectations on their performance review, but you got a trash raise, right? Type of 1% in the chat if you can relate. Type of 1% in the chat if you can relate. There has to be a better way. Yes, Jaden, I see you. Nice. Loyalty is a pay cut. Nice. What you say is something I can testify. I appreciate you, Andrew. It's crazy. It is crazy. Okay? This is some gems. Devin, I appreciate you. Now let's get into it. Okay? I want you guys to look at the senior engineer at your company. You know exactly who I'm talking about. If you don't, it's okay. They're probably in your team's chat or whatever that you use to communicate. The person at the top of your ladder, you know their salary. Now, I want you to go ahead and do the math. How long does it take to get there? 5 years? Maybe even 10, if you're lucky. Okay? And what's that number when you arrive? Is it 180? Is it 200,000? I don't know. So let's get something straight. You're going to spend a decade, 10 years of your life climbing a ladder to a ceiling you can already see. That, it doesn't, the math is not mathing. And when you finally get there after 10 years of stress, 10 years of politics, 10 years of waiting, you're stuck again. It's a new ceiling, but the same trap. Type of 1% in the chat if you guys are following along. Type of 1% in the chat if you with me. Nice, nice. Cool. So that's the reward. A slightly higher ceiling that you still can't break. Unless you stop climbing and you start jumping. Chris, If you go to my Instagram page right after this live, or if you want to take a break, if you go to my Instagram page and you look at one of the first students, his name is Chris. He before he came to the program, he actually left his software engineer job. He was making $175,000 a year, and he had a $10,000 bonus, so he was making 185,000. He joined the program. He took it extremely serious. In 1 month and 24 days, he was able to receive 2 offer letters. Okay, on the same day. Let me actually go to my Instagram. I won't be able to share it, but I'm gonna go because the last time I tried to share it, it kicked everybody out. It literally closed my Google Chrome software. And so I'm gonna go to my Instagram. Let me actually go on my phone. I'm gonna go on my phone because my this one's bugging. So if you go to my Instagram on my page, it says Christopher, 2 offer letters, $250,000 a year, plus bonus in 1 month and 24 days from joining the program. And so that's $13,910 a month after tax. Right? He joined literally 2 months ago. His life has changed forever. Now, Chris, he had 10 years of experience in tech. And in 2 months, he literally made more money than what he was making before. He was making 185. And in 2 months, he was able to get 2 offers. Not only 2 offers, he has another offer. He has another interview. He's on the final round. He's about to get the offer. And then he has about like, I think 6 to 9 different companies he's talking to right now for interviewing. I did a Sunday coaching call and I had all my successful students. It was about 6 of them. All my successful students in the past week that got offers, it was 6 of them. 2 of those 6 got 2 offer letters. But nonetheless, the whole point I'm trying to say is there's 2 roads. There's 2 roads. How many of you guys are with me? Type 2. Type the letter 2 in the chat if you are with me. There's 2 roads. Type the number 2 if you are with me. Okay? Type the number 2 if you are with me. Cool. Nice. Nice. It is crazy. There's 2 roads, Jaden Nassib. The first road is that, before I even say the road, this is super important, and this is something I personally realize. There is, I don't know if you guys are aware, but you actually, there's either you choose the road that you want to go on intentionally, but if you're not aware, society, your influences externally will choose the road for you. What do I mean? Before I actually woke up and paid attention to what's going on, I was listening to my mom, I was listening to my dad, my brothers. I'm the youngest. I have 3 older brothers. And go to school, get a job, work. And I went to school, I dropped out. I was a nursing major. And then I went back to school the next semester, graduated December 2019, an information technology degree at Frostburg State University. Okay. Now, literally, the crazy thing happened to me. I graduated. I struggled to get a job. If you guys know my story, I graduated with an information technology degree. So just to show you guys, I graduated with a information technology degree. Right? A lot of people be capping online. I got proof. Right? I got my Security Plus because they told you need your security. Because I got my degree. Guess what's going on? I'm struggling. I'm doing the Uber Eats. I was so broke I couldn't put gas in my car. I couldn't put gas in my car to do Uber Eats. I was so broke I couldn't do Uber because Uber was more money. Right? I didn't have I needed what was it, 10 years? My car needed to be like 10 years or newer or something like that. And so then I got my A plus. Right? I got my A plus first. No, I got my Security Plus and then A plus. I was gonna go get my Network Plus, but then I got my AWS CCP. Because these are the certs that you get these certs. Right? I couldn't even do Uber because I was broke. I don't know if you guys ever seen that what's it called? Lottery ticket? Lottery ticket, let me see. lottery ticket, right? Anyways, I'm not even gonna go that far. But I was so broke. Now, why am I saying this? This is the road that society, this is the road that my external factor gave me, and I accepted it. And I got lucky. My friend, he asked me to, hey, do you want to go ahead and get a job? Do you want to do this 2-day contract job? It was an IT technician. Fast forward, I ended up getting a full-time offer. It was $35,000 a year. And I started working. I'm like, yo, I got a job. Yes. I was making 35. I broke into tech. Let's get it. Right. I'm cool. I got my degree. Right. Now, the crazy part is that the first week I was just in traffic. I was going to work. I was waking up early. I came home from work late, around like 6, 8 sometimes, because I had to commute. I was in traffic. I had to hurry up, cook dinner, cook food for tomorrow because I was broke. I couldn't really eat out. I had to do my laundry, so I had to make sure my clothes, like I barely had time for myself. And so the reason why I'm saying this is I barely had time for myself and I barely had any money. I had no time. I had no money. That was the first road that someone else gave me. Type of 1% in the chat if you guys are following along. The first road. That's option number one. You guys with me? 1%? Cool. Cool. Nice. Now here's the scam. Here's the scam. I literally was working and I was like, wait a minute. I have to do this until I'm in my 60s? What? I was like, this is the biggest finesse anybody's ever made. How crazy is it to influence a whole race, I don't even know, the human race, that is acceptable to work majority of your life, most likely doing something that you hate. And then when you do retire in your 60s, you don't even have enough money for yourself, right? If you look at the stats, right, most people don't have money to actually, like, they have to depend on one of their family members, like, after they retire. Like, the money will run out, is what I'm saying. That does not make any sense. But it didn't really hit me until I was in it. That is the biggest scam for me. Now, this is just me, right? If you like, there's nothing wrong with the 9 to 5. I'm not going to shame anybody for a 9 to 5, right? I worked my 9 to 5. It was a tool that I used to make money, invest it, retire. There's nothing wrong. Like, if you like your 9 to 5, there's nothing wrong with that. But I hated my 9 to 5. I hated driving to work in traffic. And it was insane. It was insane. And I told myself, damn, this is the biggest scam. It don't make no sense. It's not sensing. And so that is the first road. Go to school, get a job, right? Go to school, get your degree, right? Get your certs, get whatever. Get a job. I couldn't even get a job. I could not even get a job. I was blessed by one of my friends who asked me, right? So anyways, that's one road. And then retire when you're in your 60s, right? The first road is having somebody else dictate your life for you instead of you being in control. Top of 1% in the chat if you guys are following along. You say your story of my life right now. I'm trying to tell you. I was like, it didn't make no sense. I was like, this is the biggest scam. Like, how did they make the masses actually believe this notion, this belief that this is the norm? What? I started working when I'm not even, anyways, how many of you guys are cool? 1%, 1%, nice, nice. It don't make no sense. Now, I'm going to show you guys what I did. And honestly, it is not rocket science. Going to school and graduating college was harder than retiring my 9 to 5. I am not lying to you. I literally dropped out of school for a reason. I came back, but I dropped out of school for a reason. I was a B minus type of student. I ain't no dummy. Okay. BAS senior in IT. I can't even get an interview for an internship. I'm trying to tell you, it don't make no sense. It's not, and I'll show you guys why, right? So, literally, here's what I did. I first realized that the game that I was playing the wrong game. I was playing the wrong game. So, first step, awareness. It's like you're burning in the fire and you're realizing, like, oh, snap, I'm in the fire. It hurts. I got to do something. But most people were just like, I'm cool. Oh, yeah, nah, my feet's burning. It's cooking. My crusty feet is burning on the fire. This smell tasty. I'm good. Nah. Right? Excuse me. And so, literally, you have to first be aware and realize that you're in the fire and you need another roadmap. That's number one. The second thing I did, right? I told myself, so I actually read this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. This book literally started my whole journey. Before this book, I only read one book in my life, and it was Goosebumps. Literally in the 5th grade, I sat down and read Goosebumps. I was so engaged. I mean, I was so like entertained. But I read this book. I need to reread it now that I haven't read this in a while. But I read this book and it made me realize, oh, I'm playing the wrong game. I'm playing the wrong game. It was insane. This book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, taught me that I need to be able to learn a high income skill, right? And I needed to be able to operate at a different level. I needed to be able to work differently. I was climbing one wall, but Rich Dad Poor Dad told me to climb another wall. Not even climb, jump, right? Jump. I made leaps. I wasn't even climbing anymore. I made leaps. Now, what do I mean by that? How is it the fact that some people, it takes 10 years to climb the corporate ladder? And they go from, let's just say, $60,000 to $180,000, right? Cool. It takes 10 years. I went from $55,000 a year to literally $135,000 in 2 months. In 2 months. If you don't believe me, check my story, right? Check my Instagram with my highlights. If you're on Instagram, I'll type in my Instagram again. That's my name. Talk is cheap. I have all receipts to back up what I'm saying. And all I'm doing is just sharing what I did. Okay. Now, I didn't climb, I jumped. And when I got this job, I was an AWS cloud engineer. I went from 55 to 135, I almost tripled my income. I had a meeting with my mentor. And my mentor said, hey, Tyle, on Friday, I want you to tell me how much money you want to make. I said, all right, cool. I was like, I'm about to surprise this guy. I'm going to surprise him. And I was like, I'm going to blow him away. I want to make $250,000. I want to make $250,000. And Friday came. He was like, yo, Tyle, how much money do you want to make? I was like, hey, I'm trying to make that quarter. I'm trying to make that $250,000. I'm trying to make $250,000. He said, he looked at me, he said, okay. Okay. Go ahead and double it. I was like, yo, inside of myself, like externally, I was like, okay. I was like, why? He was like, don't worry, I'll tell you. I'll tell you after you get your goal. But inside of me, I was like, this guy wants me to make $500,000. He is smoking crack cocaine. He's smoking crack. I was like, yo, I mean, I'm playing you guys, but I literally thought he was crazy. I was like, you want me to make $500,000? It blew my mind. The mindset that I have, it was like I could not comprehend that amount of money. But he was my mentor. And so I trusted him and I believed in him. And he said, that was my mindset. My mindset was like, I'm going to make $500,000. Talk is cheap. It is literally on if you see the about me on my Instagram, you'll see it. I made $1 million in offer letters, right? In my career, doesn't mean I was making $1 million. I'm very transparent. In my career, I was able to generate $1 million in offer letters, right? You'll be able to see me actually making a $500,000 2 months after that conversation. So before I made $500,000, I started to see different opportunities to make a $500,000. I started to see that I can get contracts, right, as a cloud engineer. Okay. But I started to see different opportunities. There's power in the tongue. And all I did was I jumped into that opportunity. Okay, you'll be able to see it on my About Me page. I wish I can share my screen, but Instagram, my whole thing cut off. But if you look at my Instagram, you'll see that you'll see it was, I think, March or April. I think April. No, April. In April in 2024, I got an offer letter. 3 days later, I got another offer letter. I think 5 days later, I got another offer letter. I declined one because there was a conflict of interest, right? I don't break any compliance rules, right? And then the second and third offer letter, I accepted it. I was making $489,000. And then I also, in the About Me, if you watch it towards the end, I show you my pay stubs in terms of not my pay stubs, but my bank, the money actually hitting my account. I was making $25,000 a month. Now, why is this important? It has nothing to do with me. I don't care about flexing about, oh, look at the money I made. That you guys don't care about that, right? The whole purpose of me sharing this is to show you guys what is available. This stuff is not rocket science, and the stuff that I learned in college was so much harder than this stuff. And so I'm like, what the heck? I'm working harder than 9 to 5 and I'm getting paid less. But this other roadmap, going back to the roadmap, the second road was I learned a high income skill. And I was able to position myself in the market where I had recruiters coming to me because I'm valuable. Okay. And I was able to go on interviews. I literally got 3 offer letters in a span of, I think, it's like 7 to 10 days. You can look it on the About Me. You can see the dates. Okay. Now, why is this important? I talked about how you can go and get a 3 to 4% raise. How many of you guys would like a 3 to 4% raise, or to go from $55,000 to 48? Now, let me not say that, because I'm not saying that's what's going to happen to you. I have no idea what's going to happen to you. Right? I don't want to sell a dream to you guys. But how many of you would have chosen the first route, the first tile? Like, hey, let me go and get a raise. There's nothing wrong with that. If you like your 9 to 5, I'm never going to shame somebody for any decision that they want. There's nothing wrong with that. You can get that 3 to 4% raise. If that's what you want, that's what you want. To each his own. People want different things. There's nothing wrong with that. Go to work and retire in your 60s, right? Some people, they like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Me, hell no. For me, I thought that was a scam. So what did I do? I was aware. Step one, I became aware of my situation. I became aware that I was in the fire. It's a little bit hot. Okay. The second thing I realized that I needed to learn a high income skill. I looked at all the different skills: network engineer, cybersecurity, RMF, SOC analyst, database administrator. And out of all of those different titles, cloud engineer was the only skill that I could learn that I could make more money and work less. When I was working these jobs, you would not even believe the amount of time I was working in terms of cloud engineering. I barely was working. It was insane. It is unreal. And it's because the work is not that heavy, right? We're setting automations up. We're building things, right? We're monitoring. We're not actively, like, when I was an IT technician, I was replacing hard drives. I was troubleshooting different network issues. I was going to different sites, looking at servers, right? Checking the ports, right? That's a whole different story. But my main point of me saying this is literally, how did I go from $35,000 a year to $489,000 a year. It's simple. I was first aware that this was bullshit. Excuse my language, but it's just the truth. That was BS. The second thing I realized is that I had to get out of the firing pot. I don't even know if that's a word. A pot that's boiling hot water. It's a little hot, right? Then I had to go out there and learn a high income skill that's highly leveraged. Leverage just means that you can make more money and work less. An IT technician, if I got a second job, I would make more money, but I would work twice as harder. I made, I don't even know let's actually look at the math. I'm going to do 489,000 divided by 35,000. That's 13.97. That's 13.9. Let's round it up to 14x. I made 14 times the money I was making from an IT technician to an AWS cloud engineer, right? Doing multiple contracts. That doesn't make any sense. And that was in the span of 2 years. That does not make any sense. I didn't climb this wall. I jumped to the other wall. Top of 1% in the chat if you guys are following along. Top of 1% in the chat if you guys are following along. I'm gonna answer some questions. Justice, is good to see you. That man teaching. Hey, look, I'm trying to learn from you. All right. So this was not a plan, but if you guys go to my story after this, I'm gonna give you guys a gift, and this is only for people who are aware that they're in fire and they personally want to learn from me on, I think it's April 15th. April 15th, I'm going to be in Miami. It's going to be a yacht event. It's a networking event for tech professionals. I actually sponsored this event, but it's an amazing lady named Justice, but she's hosting this event. It's going to be a yacht, and I think there's 5 more spots. I have to ask her. I think it's on the website. But if you go to my flyer, you can actually purchase a ticket. Now, I'm going to let you guys know something. I'm going to let you know something. My prices on my one-on-ones is not cheap. I charge, and mind you, this is not available. I'm not like trying to sell anybody. Trust me, not trying to sell anybody, but I'm just letting you know my price for my one-on-one coaching is $300,000. It's a lot of money, right? And it's only available for my students that's making $500,000. I just showed them how to retire their 9 to 5, how to hit their first $1 million, how to actually build wealth. There's a system for that. But I'm not selling anything to you guys. I'm just letting you know what my time is worth. That's what I charge. But right on that yacht party, I am literally, some of my students are going there. Some people who follow me online are going there. Like, if you purchase the ticket, I am a very giving person. You can ask me any question and I will answer. You do not have to purchase the ticket. I'm not saying, hey, buy the ticket. I'm just letting you know, if you do want to actually talk to me and get as many gems as you want, I'll be there. And there's going to be a bunch of other people there too. I know some people that's doing like 1.2 million dollars in tech. And so there is power in proximity, right? You do not have to purchase anything, but I'm just letting you guys know that is an opportunity that is there. Okay. April 25th, just, she said it's not going to be like look, I'm going to bring my bathing suit. I'm going to get in the water. People going to be in suits. Look, they're going to be in their suit and tie, looking all pretty. I'm going to get in the water. My little tights, with my little tights. I've been working out for this event. Let me stop playing. But you can go ahead and if you want, you do not have to. I can't stress that enough. I'm never going to be the type of guy that's like, yo, buy my program or buy this. You don't, please, like, if you don't want to buy, please don't. And I cannot stress that enough. So now what I want you guys to understand is you have somebody else giving you your own roadmap, your destiny. Go to school, get a job, blah, blah, blah. Or you have the power to choose your own destiny. You have your own power to actually think for yourself, right? Public schools, they don't teach you how to critically think. They don't teach you how to think for yourself. Honestly, I wasn't thinking for myself. But it wasn't until I was in the 9 to 5 rat race and I was like, ouch, this don't hurt. And I was forced to think. I was like, hold on, somebody told me about this book. It hurts to read. Literally, I'm not playing. I was forced to read this book because I was hurting. And I was like, oh, snap. They got the secrets in this book. And I just applied it. Like, I just apply. I listened to what he said. Literally. And it's not like this stuff, learning the high income skill. College is literally harder because you learn a lot of bullshit. They make it so complicated and you don't even use it. Type of 1% in the chat if you guys are following along. Type of 1% in the chat if you guys are following along. It is insane. It is insane. And I wanna note something. Yes, how can I interview you this year for the younger generation? So if you're interested in interviewing me, just DM me 1%. I have a team. Just say, hey, please send this to Tile, and they'll put it in the right folder. So like you can actually you'll be talking to me. And so I wanna stress this. Yes, I do charge a decent amount. I know my worth, but the reason why I want to come on these lives, you guys can ask me any questions. Now I have to switch from Instagram to YouTube, and I have to pay attention to what I'm trying to say. So I'm not going to answer the question as it comes. But if you guys, I'm going to give you guys towards like the end of the live and say, hey, if you have any questions, type it in the chat, and I'll be more than happy to like serve you. So the whole purpose is to really I wish I had somebody like me when I started. I've spent around 100 and I think 60 or $80,000 since December 2021 on courses and mentorships. I was making $10 an hour when I first started. I was living with my parents. I was making $200 a month after expenses, and I had to figure it out. I went into loans. I got into debt. I got scammed by two different people. One of them was a mentor. The other one was just a shitty investments. But I still kept on going. I didn't care. I knew it was going to play. I knew it was going to work out. Why? Because I just knew. But nonetheless, I wish I had somebody like me to say, do this step by step. Do this step by step. Right? I do that in my program. If you want to see the results, you can go to my Instagram page. You can see the highlights. Okay? You can see their results. Okay? And they've gone through my step-by-step process. If you guys are interested in seeing if you do qualify for the program, DM me the word 1%, and my team will reach out to you to see how you can get started today. Now, going back to the main thing is I want you guys to understand this stuff it's not rocket science, right? There is different paths, and it's either you're choosing your own path or someone's choosing it for you. Now, I want to choose my own path. Now, how many of you guys have any questions? I'm actually probably going to end this live a little bit early. Do you guys want me to keep on going? Type of 1% in the chat if you guys want me to keep on going. All right, type of 1% in the chat if you guys want me to keep on going. On YouTube, on Instagram, go ahead and type of 1% in the chat. Right? All this theoretical work and no real foundation as well. I'm trying to tell you. 1%, this is my journey. 1%. All right, cool. I see you guys. YouTube. All right, nice. All right, so what I'm going to do for you guys, ask me absolutely any question you have. Anything you want to tell me, anything at all. Ask me any question. I'm actually going to get this on IG. How many of you guys actually thought this was useful? Go ahead and type a 1% in the chat. How many of you guys actually thought this was useful? You're going to come back tomorrow. So every day I'm going to go live. I'm trying to aim for 7:30. Sometimes it's a little bit late, but my goal is 7:30. How many of you guys actually thought this was useful? Type a 1% in the chat, right? I got you with the questions too as well. Nice. Cool. Nice. I just came on. What did I miss? Oh, you missed a lot. Jaden, it's good to see you, man. You've been on since day one. Nice. All right, cool. So, my question is, what is the top 2 things to leverage to get to 7 figures? See, I like people who think big. You'd be surprised. I don't want to. I'm not going to say his name, but recently, it's not even funny how I got access to this guy. He's very low key, and it's by God's grace. But within the past, I think it's been 3 weeks, but literally by a certain network, I was able to be connected by a billionaire. I'm not going to share his name because he's very low key, but literally, it's not even funny. It's just insane the amount of money he makes per day. And it's not even about the money, it's about the mindset, it's about the skill set, and it's about the standard that like he's on. Like multiple millions of like it's like you can't even fathom it. It's actually it does not make any sense. But there's just different levels. But the reason why I bring that up is I'm glad you said my question is what is the top two things to leverage to get to seven figures? All right. Oh, you guys got questions. I'm coming to interview you. I hope you're ready for these questions. Oh, let me know. I got you. All the tool sets. All right, cool. I see you on YouTube as well. If you want to know when the class starts, just DM me on Instagram. It's we make it flexible. Literally, you can start anytime. We have different structures. But anyways, Cam, I see you've been dropping a lot of gems from the lives to the coaching calls on Sundays. I'm glad you came to the coaching calls. I'm trying to tell you, look, the Sunday coaching call is where it's at. All right. So my question is, what is the top two things to leverage to get to seven figures? Here is what you need to do. And it's not rocket science. The most fundamental skill set that you need to know. I have a university. It's called the 1% University. It's where one percenters are made. Join today. I'm just kidding. But that was a little commercial. But freshman year is how to never live paycheck to paycheck ever again. How to get richer and richer every single month automatically with systems and automation. Literally, it's very simple. You get paid in HR and your little system that you can tell it, okay, give me 100% in this bank, give me 50% on this bank, 20% this bank. Literally, it's very simple. Understand how much your expenses are. 2,000, cool. I'm going to put $2,000 in this bank every month. Cool. Then you have your fun money. That's for you to have some fun. I don't believe in Dave Ramsey, eat rice and beans and suffer until you're out of debt. Right? Be smart. And then you have another bank account. These are different accounts. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying what I did. And this is the foundation. You need to be able to know how to manage your money and have the basic financial literacy skills to be able to, because once you make money, you need to be able to grow it. But you can't bring money in your financial house and then now it's just leaving your financial house. And at the end of the month, you're like, yo, where did it go? Okay. Now you get paid. You have three accounts. One is your expense account. You don't touch it. You automate all your expenses there. You get paid, right? I typically like to have 3 months of expenses there, right? Boom, you're good to go. You have your fun money. I used to go out. I was having fun when I was in debt, but my net worth was I was negative, right? But getting out of that negative while still having fun. But obviously there was a small percentage because I was investing aggressively. It's your expense account, it's your fun money account, and it is your build wealth account. Now, it doesn't mean to just invest in the stock market. The first thing that I did before I invested in the stock market is I invested in my brain. I don't know if you guys, heard me, but I have receipts. I've invested I think it's $160,000 to $180,000 in courses, mentorships. I literally have more money in my brain than I do in clothes and shoes. How many of you guys can, and this is not to like shame you. I don't believe in shaming. Like if you want to buy, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's just to bring awareness. How many of you guys have actually spent more money, not including universities or school? That's BS, right? But actually paid somebody that has the result that you want for him to coach you and teach you to the result that you need or want. I paid other people money that I did not have at the time. I had faith, and I was living with my parents, and I didn't have kids. I didn't, still don't have kids, but I had more risk. I paid somebody else to teach me skills to increase my income. I started at $10 an hour. I don't even know my hourly rate right now. I started at $10 an hour, but I paid money to somebody else to increase my hourly rate because I can have more income power. Testing, testing, testing. All right. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Type of 1% in the chat if you guys can hear me. All right, you guys can hear me? Cool. Nice. Yeah, this camera literally it can go like 30 minutes and then it will just start act like it just cuts off because that's a 30-minute timer. And I'm not trying to configure it. I got to get a new camera. Now, what you do, you guys with me? All right, cool. Now, the first step that you need is you need to be able to learn how to manage your money. And then your net worth every single month is getting richer and richer. And so now what I did was I invested into skills to increase my income potential. I would invest. Some of the investments would not work out. And I knew that going in, but I budgeted my money for that to happen. But I kept on investing, I kept on investing, and one of the thing worked out. And so now instead of making $10 an hour, I was making, well, not 35 because that was from a friend, but I went from 35,000 to 135 to have more income. Guess what I did? I didn't buy my Porsche, right, that you see on my page. I didn't buy my house. I was still living with my parents. I I invested into more mentorships, right? I learned how to day trade. Well, I learned how to day trade before I got into cloud engineering, but I learned different skills to increase my income potential. Then I applied those skill sets into the market to receive money. Then remember the foundation. My bills are paid, right? Just because I was making 7,600 a month, making 135. Then I went from 7,600 a month to $25,000 a month. But guess what I was doing? I invested 95% of my income. I learned how to day trade already. Now I wasn't day trading. I was long-term investing, right? I was swing trading is what they call it. But I literally invested about, oh man, all right. The audio is choppy. This is annoying. The audio is choppy. All right, give me 1 second, you guys. I got you. I'm gonna set this up. All right, bet. So let's see if this works. Oh, I see what y'all mean. This joint's choppy. Oh, this no good. It is not good. Can y'all hear me? Y'all good? Audio? Testing, testing. Can y'all hear me? It's better? Just put some AirPods in. Let's see. Can y'all hear me? Testing, testing. Y'all good to go? It's a little bit of. All right, cool. Nice. So, literally, I learned how to manage my money first. Once I learned how to manage my money, I was getting richer and richer every single month. I put a certain portion of my money into investing into skills. I learned those skills. Those skills, I didn't try to get a job, right? I didn't try to make money first. I tried to learn skills. Those skills, once I applied it, it was able to increase my earning potential. Literally, I learned so for me, I learned one of the most valuable skills. It is extremely difficult, and 95% of people lose money and they're not successful. The stats are actually crazy. Now, I do not recommend people to day trade because it is very difficult, right? But it was going to work out, or it was going to work out for me. I'm going to let you know that right now. But I learned how to day trade. Okay, day trading is one of those. Literally, you can print money. As we speak, I can literally. Well, I'm not going to do it while we're speaking because you have to focus. But you can literally print money. It is the most valuable skill set that you can ever learn. Right. I do not recommend people to just go out there and day trade. I'm not saying day trade. You gonna lose money. Right. I wasn't successful. It took me 1 year and 11 months to be a consistently profitable trader. Right. I can print money. So that's why I always say I'm not trying to be mean, or I don't want it to sound like a I'm not trying to make it sound a certain way, but I don't need anybody's money. I have a program, right, that teaches people how to get into six figures cloud and scale to 500,000, but I don't need anybody's money. I can print money. I can work less and make more money. That's what this guy talks about. In my program, I work a lot. And I work a lot because it gives me purpose so I can serve. I actually really like to help people. But I make money in other ways. Honestly speaking, I can print money. It is insane. If you go to my highlights on my Instagram page, it says $1 million. You can see the money that I can generate. And it's not about look at me, look at the money. No one really cares about how much money I'm making. But I'm saying this because I learned skills. That's it. I learned skills and I didn't give up. A lot of people think like certain things are scams. There are scams out there, but a lot of people scam them. A lot of people scam themselves. They literally try something and they give up. A lot of people scam themselves. Patel said day trading is a scam. Lost 100K. There should be no reason. To each his own. To each his own. Because that's a whole different topic. So now, um, Action Taker University. Are you still there? And so you said my question is, what is the top two things to leverage to get to seven figures? I learned money management and I learned to bring in skills to increase my earning potential. Once I mastered those two things, I was just patient and I was able to increase my income, sorry, my net worth to the point where I don't have to work anymore if I didn't want to. I retired my mom in 2024. I retired myself in 2025. And I plan on retiring my dad this year. He just don't know it yet. All right. And so top viewers, steamboot.com. Oh, I got some Twitch love. I didn't even know y'all on Twitch. Oh, word? I didn't even know y'all was rocking me on Twitch. I just turned it on. All right, so now let's go back to the Matrix has his IG is the Matrix has y'all. That's funny. My question is, I don't want to work 9 to 5. What's the options after getting all the skills needed? I mean, I kind of just said it. You just need to be patient, but you need to make sure you learn the right skills. I'll send the DM. I'll fly out to you. No, you don't gotta fly out, bro. If you want, you can. And so, anybody, go ahead and ask any questions you have. Right, I'm gonna give it about another 5-10 minutes. Let me go on YouTube and see if y'all ask questions. Okay, when does the next class start? So, like I said, just DM me the word 1%. I'll show you like how it works. It's not like we have a start date. Like, oh, this class is starting this date. We do like we have different, different flexibility. You can pretty much start anytime. But so I will say this, I cannot stress this enough. You do not have to join my program. You do not have to join my program. There's YouTube University. Respectfully, I do not need your money. I'm not saying, hey, join my course. I'm not that type of guy. I cannot stress that enough. But if you are interested, DM me the word 1%, and I cannot stress this enough. Do not join my program if you are not committed and you're not going to put in the work. You need three different elements. You need the identity to overcome challenges. There's going to be challenges. Okay. It's not like, oh, you make $500,000 and you do it overnight and so easy. You overcome challenges. We help you how to overcome them. You put in the time and energy into the third element, the blueprint. It is literally step by step. I've made it in a way that a fifth grader can go through this blueprint and still be successful. Literally, if you talk to my students, they'll tell you it's as simple as a fifth. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? Yes, I am. This blueprint is. Well, you get the point. I make bad jokes. I'm trying to be funny. But you have to be the person that's able to overcome challenges. You have to be the person that's going to commit and put the time and energy into the blueprint and be patient, right? And those people are the people that are successful. You can see some of my students on my Instagram highlights. Those are for people who are interested. So, Fonta, if you're interested in knowing when the next class starts, just DM us and we'll show you how we can help you. But we don't just accept anybody, right? There is we do qualify people because we want to make sure we're a good fit for you and you're a good fit for us. Is it necessary for me to get the network CompTIA certification in order to do cloud? So my perspective is like, imagine I make a company and the company is called CompTIA. And I'm like, I'm not getting any sales. I'm going to go ahead and talk to a distribution, someone who controls the media, and tell them, hey, yo, we're going to pay you some money or we're going to do X, Y, and Z, give you a favor, pat on the back, whatever. We owe you one later in the future. If you create this narrative that people need certifications to get jobs. I've talked to different hiring managers that hired me, right? I asked them, would you hire somebody that has a PhD, 8 certifications, but no experience on literally what you're asking on the job description? Or the second person that has a high school diploma, but he has a year of experience on everything that you're literally asking for. Who would you hire? Guess. I want you guys to say number 1 if it's the person with the PhD and certifications, or number 2 in the chat if it's the person with the 1 year of experience with a high school diploma. Who do you guys think that they hired? They all said the same answer. Number 1, the person with the certs and agrees, or number 2, the person with no certs and no degrees, but 1 year of experience on exactly what they're asking for. How many of you guys, what do you guys think that the answer was? Anybody? What's going on, Sam? It's good to see you. Okay. Keen, I see you said 2. Nice. Anybody else? I know it's a little bit. All right. Literally, it is not even funny. They look for someone. Okay. All right, cool. I see John. I see you said 2. Correct. They look for somebody. If you can answer these 2 questions, you can get any offer letters. You need to answer the question because they're looking for these questions. They're trying to figure out, can you do the job? That's number 1. And you show that with clearly articulating the projects and experiences that you've done that directly relates to what's on the job description or what they need. Hey, we're looking for someone for cloud migration. We're looking for someone to use containerized applications, using Docker to containerize applications and use Jenkins to automate the process, right? Literally, yes, at my last role, I was able to migrate databases and applications from on-prem to AWS, right? And some of the tools that I used was Terraform to automatically build out the infrastructure. I used Jenkins to build out my Jenkins file, to create a pipeline, to automatically deploy the applications to the infrastructure, blah, 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 blah. But that's actually things that, I'm not just saying anything. Those are actually things that I've said on interviews and gotten offers. And so if that lets them know they that I can do the job. They're looking for, can you do the job and will we like you? Culture fit. Like, really, just not being a weirdo. Like, culture fit is a real thing, right? Okay. And so, me pulling up to the interview with the certification, right? Like, I don't like it because I personally, I personally have gotten certifications, right? I got to print out my A plus. I mean, my AWS cert. I got my college degree and I was driving Uber Eats and I didn't know why. It was at 2 a.m. in the morning, right? I was like, yes, I got my $10. My goal was $10 an hour. I was like, yes, I got my $10. And what I didn't understand was what they told me. Like when I interviewed the 5 hiring managers, they look for people that can do the job and will be like you. Simple as that. That's literally, I have my own business. That's what I look for. I don't care if you got, literally, I do not care. I do not care if you have a degree. That doesn't tell me anything. Can you do the job? Because if you can do the job, you save me time and you bring in more money. And for businesses, that's what they look for. If you can solve the problem, if you can do the job, and if they like you, you'll save the business time and money. That's how to get offers. So I don't subscribe to network certifications. Now, if you want to get your network certification, you can. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just sharing my own experience, and it doesn't mean that I'm right. It's just my own experience. And so, Britt, if you want to get your network certification, you can. But if not, you don't have to. But what some people do, they'll learn like try to get the cert just to learn it, but they won't take the test because they can learn the material. And so you can do that as well. But if you want to take it and get the cert, there's nothing wrong with that. I know some people they want to get the cert because they don't have any college degrees and they want to have something like credibility. Literally, one of my students, Stormy, go to my Instagram, his highlights, right? Stormy, no degree, no cert. He didn't have any experience. He's now making $300,000 after going through my program. $300,000 a year, a doctor's salary. Okay. And guess what? He still doesn't have a degree or any certs. And so, what does that tell you? Something's a little bit off. I think that theory that I have about CompTIA paying somebody to let the masses know you need certifications to get a job, that might be a little bit true. Now, that's just my own little conspiracy theory. Just ignore me. I'm not serious, but I'm just saying. Cam said you've been dropping a lot of gems from the live coaching calls. I appreciate you, boss. All right, cool. Mastering cloud engineering and day trading succeed at both, and you're on a road path to becoming a millionaire. I'm just honestly, bro, like my whole mission statement is just to impact millions of lives on a global scale. So I appreciate you guys. Realistically, after you make a certain amount of money, it's not even about the money anymore. It's your life doesn't dramatically change. And this is coming from somebody who used to average $5 tips per table at Bob Evans. I understand the value of a dollar. So I'm not saying like, oh, I make so much money, blah, blah, blah. Once you make a lot of money, it doesn't. No, I understand the value of a dollar and I know what it means to struggle. Right. But I'm just sharing from a perspective. Once you do make a certain amount, it doesn't become money, depending on the person, I'll say that, but it's, I definitely focus on trying to impact millions of lives. That's the mission statement on a global scale. And so I love day trading at AWS first or Azure. Now, AWS has the most market shares, right? So that just means that there's more jobs. But Azure, a lot of uh, government agencies, right? They use Azure. So if you want to get more so into the government, you can focus on Azure. But if you like, I want to first get job opportunities. I want to get the most jobs available. So I focus on AWS. Okay. And so does anybody have any more questions, comments, concerns? Absolutely anything. I'm about to drop off. It is 12:13 and I need to go sleep. Well, I'm not actually gonna go sleep. I barely sleep, you guys. I'm lying to you guys. I just need some time for myself. Need some time. I'm literally gonna go on the PS5. If you guys want to play, my name is Tyo Lucy. Literally my name on Instagram. You guys can add me because I need some more friends to play with. I'm playing, but I'm actually not playing at the same time. Sadly enough. So does does anybody have any more questions, comments, absolutely any concerns? Uh, Thank you for your time. Really valuable information. I'm glad this actually helped you guys. That's why I'm here. Mastering cloud engineering and day trading, you're on the righteous path to be. Wait, this is on the same thing? Literally, y'all said the same. Wait, oh, you're the same person. Mastering cloud. You did it on Instagram and YouTube. I didn't know that was your YouTube. Okay, unless that was strange. I both said the same thing. I think you guys literally said the same thing. That's kind of weird. Succeed above. That's actually very strange. Y'all both said the same exact thing. Y'all are two different people. Interesting. What would you recommend to start first for people who have no experience in tech? Um, no, you don't have to start a help desk. I used to hear that before I actually got my first tech job. I was like, nah, I want to do things by the book. I want to go through the ladder, help desk. Nah, you, you can start a help desk if you want. There's nothing wrong with that. But if I had to start over again, I would learn a high leveraged income skill. Leverage just means you make more money and work less. Cybersecurity, they make six figures. Network engineer, they're almost at six figures averagely. Database administrator, they make six figures. Like there's different, IT is like a tree, and then there's different sectors in IT. Those are the branches. For me, I saw that cloud engineer was a way for me to make a lot of money and work less because leverage, you make more money, you work less. So that's why I chose cloud engineer. You don't have to start at cloud engineer, but you can if you want. And so you can look on YouTube, you can research about it. But yeah, I started at cloud engineering because I wanted something where I can make more money and work less. And cloud engineering was that skill, keyword skill, for me. I think it's okay, cool. FIFA, hey, hey, if you got look, you talking about FIFA now. Hey, you bad. Hey, look, I'm about to drop my PlayStation, man. Tyler Lucy, bet Abby right now. Get on the sticks. You can get on the sticks. And what? I'm sorry, little FIFA. All right, let me stop playing. All right, how viable is a so anything cert related? I'm not. I'm trying so hard not to take a I'm not trying to. Let me put it like this. My experience with getting certifications, I got them and I was struggling. Okay. And so I'm not saying they don't work. Maybe I just did something wrong, honestly speaking, but it just did not work for me. And so ethically, I cannot tell you an advice that I know that it just didn't work for me. There's other people, they got certs, they got jobs, it's good. Me and my students, they it didn't work for them. Okay. Um, Same, I got them and I never got a call. It's just me. That's what I was told. You get a degree, you get certs. You going my dad was like, yes, just go get your security plus. Josh will be calling you. Eh? And I was like, all right, cool. Like you rapping. I got him. I was like, yo, dad, I got my security plus. I literally was like, I was like, hey, dad, I got my security plus. No, I didn't really do that. He would have slapped the crap out of me. But I said it in a different way. And I failed the Security Plus 5 times. I made a YouTube video on that. Check it out. Description below. I'm just kidding. But literally, I got my certs and I struggled, right? And so it's not about study, get certifications, job. For me, it was study, get certification, struggle. It was learn, high income skill, right? Projects, like experience, like you can actually get that with AI now. That's what I did. Like projects, right? Experience, learn how to communicate, like clearly articulate the technical projects that you've done, learn how to become valuable to put yourself on LinkedIn, post on LinkedIn, certain things to say, your resume, certain keywords, SEO optimize, right? For the recruiters to come to you They say, hey, we have a job. And I say, hey, I've done X, Y, and Z. And they said, hey, we're looking for that. Here's an interview. I go on an interview. I talk my shit and they give me money. Right. That's literally the whole process. I'm I did like a very high level overview, but that's pretty much the process. Thoughts online about work. So I'll actually make a live on that, Justin. So hopefully you'll catch it because I'm about to get off and play some FIFA. Uh, hey, if you trying to get on a Fonta, if you trying to get on FIFA, you better hey, add me. Look. Stop playing. Same, I got them. I never got a call. Same, no job in tech. Hey, look, there's a way to get jobs in tech. There is a way to get jobs in tech. So let me let me see. So, anyways, now I see. Does C2C contracts actually exist in cybersecurity space? I don't know where to start. DM me. I'm gonna connect you with a resource. She's probably still on here, but I'm gonna connect you with someone. She is a queen when it comes to the C2C space. But yes, you can. To my understanding, right? She's a better resource to know. But I've seen C2C opportunities in the C2C space. It's just all about how to know how to find those opportunities. Okay, and so where can we look for commercial cloud engineering jobs other than LinkedIn? I've been in the DoD space and stuck with 300K. Oh, you stuck? I like that you have that mindset. Stuck at 300K. You're thinking. Um, DM me. Just say, hey, Tile told me to, if you can send it over to him so my team can put you in the right folder. And just because yeah, I'm actually about to, that's a more lengthy conversation. Do you think basic projects contribute to getting interviews? Now, if you say, hey, I've built my resume, I've made a website with my resume, like literally everybody that's in cloud knows that's like you're trying to get in cloud. That doesn't really show anything. But if you say, hey, I was able to be able to automate a deployment process of building EC2 application load balancers, security groups, public and private subnet inside AWS that saved around 80% deployment time, and to be able to utilize Jenkins to be able to automatically deploy a WordPress application and and Ansible to configure MySQL right in the private subnet. Right, if you're able to like, and that's literally things that you do. If you're able to say that, and first off do that, okay, and then say it, like that's value. If you can save people time and you can save them money, they will give you money. All you're doing is you're learning the tools: AWS, Terraform, Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes. You're just learning these different tools. You're using them together to build a solution to save people money and save people time. Type of 1% in the chat if that makes sense. I'm getting my onboarding Zoom call tomorrow. Hey, okay. You joined the program. Like if you joined the program and you play FIFA, hey, you better go to the boot camp calls and get on FIFA right after. So you're gonna be excited. You're like, yes, I just learned so much. I feel so good. And then you're gonna get on the FIFA on the PS5 and feel bad because I'm gonna whoop that. Let me stop playing. But but yeah, so that's what yeah, you don't want to do basic projects. Yeah, you don't want to do exactly like Terraform. Okay, bet thanks. Okay, if I don't have a degree in tech, can I learn Claude engineer? Uh, Claude. Let me stop playing. I want you to Desert 7950. I want you to go to my Instagram, go to my highlights, and look for Stormy. Stormy did not have a degree or any certifications, and right now, last month, he was, I think 3 weeks ago or last month, he got another offer for $190,000, and he was already making 110. Right, so he's making $300,000, and he still doesn't have a degree or any certs. So yes, you can learn cloud engineer, but you just have to make sure you learn the right way. What's more common in cloud engineering contracts or W 2 jobs? I don't know. I will never speak on anything I have no idea of. I see opportunities in W 2, I see opportunities in 1099, C to Cs. It just depends on the company if they're willing to do C to Cs or 1099. But typically, it just depends on where you're looking at. And so there's in my experience, I've seen an abundance amount of jobs in the cloud engineering space. There was a time, I think, I don't even know if it's still going on, but people were saying, oh, it's so hard to get a job in tech. Not only were me and my students having recruiters reach out to us because it's a system that I teach them, right? But then also cloud engineering, if you research, don't talk is cheap, look it up yourself. There is a lot of job growth in cloud engineering. AI lives in the cloud. Who manages cloud servers? Bing, bing, bing. Cloud engineers. Well, you get the point because I'm not a cloud engineer anymore, right? Retired. Um, can you share about C2C if I DM you? If you DM me, I will refer you to I have somebody who is a C2C queen, right? But then also my C2C, I teach this. That's a whole different conversation. If you DM me, say, hey, can you send this to Tile? He told me to, put it to his folder. Yeah, he said, damn, I farted. Hold on. What are y'all talking about on YouTube? YouTube said, did you really use ChatGPT for all your Python and bash scripting? Look up Cursor AI. I use Cursor. Now there's Cloud. Like if I was working, like I use Cloudbot to build different applications for my business now. And I like if I was working in Cloud because Cursor AI and ChatGPT, you still have to, it'll still give you errors and you have to troubleshoot the errors, but you have to have context of like what these things are. Cursor AI was like a lot better, but now Claude. But you want to be careful, right? Because you don't want to give sensitive information to AI, right? You want to actually simulate a solution like a similar use case, build that solution, and then migrate that code over to your production environment. Well, not production environment, meaning like your work, whatever you're doing, and then obviously you want to understand what you're doing, but it's just to be able to accelerate the being able to create something in reality, but then also you still need to understand it because you'll be speaking on this stuff on stand-ups, right? Or whatever the case may be. But yes, that's what I did. I used ChatGPT to learn absolutely everything and to speed up my job. And that's how I was working anywhere from like 30 minutes to 2 hours a day. Some days I would not work because literally something that would have took me 2 weeks to do, Cursor AI build it. It was a Terraform project to set up an SMS automation text when there's certain metrics, like when there's certain thresholds like hit, like for example 70% CPU utilization, right? But it was able to send emails using a service in AWS, but it did all of that, and then I had to connect it to Elastic. Was it Elasticsearch? No, I forgot what it was. It was a tool, but I had to connect all that stuff, and Terraform literally did that in 2 minutes. Sorry, not Terraform, Cursor AI. It was a 2 week project. Okay, so yeah. Um, PS, I'm going on pause when I start, bro. Let me get to 500K first. He said, damn, I farted. What are y'all talking about? Y'all are funny. Dropping like four vids this week. Your live setup is dope. I appreciate you, boss. Hey, yeah, nah, shoot me. We got to talk. Hey, Charles, hit my phone. We got to talk. I got some stuff for you, man. And I see you going on live too. All right, cool. What about to take a certification in the network? Um, so I just said this. I think you gave out game out plainly and truthfully. And somebody just DM me. I see you. Oh dang, y'all really hit me up. I didn't think y'all gonna hit me up. All right, so um, yeah, so I don't believe in certifications. It just didn't work for me. It might work for you, but me and my students, it didn't work. I studied. I got the cert. Uber Eats. I studied. I got the cert. Uber Eats. I learned a skill set. I had recruiters come to me. I articulated my projects and my experience. Offer letters. That's what happened. So I'm not ever going to tell anybody to get a certification because ethically that just wouldn't make any sense with my morals and my beliefs. how long would it take to be a how long would it take to be good enough for a cloud engineer job? Never had a job in tech, but I have my associates in computer science. Now this just depends on you. Now when someone says how quickly can I get an offer letter, I literally tell them I have no idea. I tell them I don't even know if you're going to get an offer letter because I cannot promise you something that I literally. the person who gives you the offer letter is the hiring manager. It's not me. And so anybody online saying we can get you an offer letter in 3 months, 6 months, they're lying to you. I'm just letting you know. They're either trying to make money from you or it's just, it's good marketing, but for me, it's bad marketing because when you don't get that offer letter in 3 months or 6 months, also, I have no idea how quickly you learn. Some people pick up things quicker, some people don't. Chris got two offer letters in a month in 24 days. His learning curve wasn't as steep, number one, because he's already in tech. And number two, he put the other factor. So the first factor is I don't know how quickly you learn. And number two, I don't know how much time and energy you're going to put into this. Chris, he had two things going for him. He was already in tech, so the learning curve wasn't steep. And number two, he put everything into this program, into the blueprint. Remember, identity, you need to become the person that overcome problems. You need to be the person that puts in the time and energy into the blueprint. Now, the blueprint, people who literally put the time and energy into it, I can tell you, everybody that has done that has gotten offers. And that's just facts. You can just look at the stats. But guess what? Not everybody's actually going to take it serious. Not everybody's going to show up to the gym. You wasn't with me when I was in the gym. I have no idea why I said that. But literally, and that's just the reality. Like I want you guys to understand, like, yes, these results are insane. You can make this money in tech, but most people are not going to put in the work to actually yield the results. And so I have no idea how long it's going to take to be good enough for a cloud engineer job. But I will say this, it doesn't matter if you have a degree or not. Stormy is a good testimony. He still does not have a degree or any certifications. Before he met me, he didn't have any experience. He didn't even know what a hard drive was. He'll literally tell you on the if you go to his little picture and it says Stormy on my Instagram, like it says it right there. And then also if you go to my YouTube, you look at his testimonial video, he'll tell you there too as well. And so you just need the right step-by-step formula, a blueprint. Do this, do this, do this. Then you need to put that time and energy into the step-by-step formula. Do this, cool, I did it. What's next? Do this, cool, I did it. What's next? That's what Stormy did. So he's making a doctor's salary without going to medical school. Type of 1% in the chat if you guys are following along. Type of 1% in the chat if you guys are following along. Nice. Cool. Cool. So Zango, I have a Security Plus and Azure Fundamentals. Also, I've studied for the Network Plus. Also, I don't have any professional experiences. I'm in school. Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. If you have the questions, drop. Oh, what things should I focus on? Focus on actually solving problems. So literally, go whatever job that you want. If you want cloud engineer, if you want networking, whatever you want, whatever job title that you want, go to Google and type in. So for me, what I did, AWS Cloud Engineer, remote jobs. I scroll down a little bit, you'll see the jobs. I went to 20 jobs one by one. I copied and pasted the job description into a Google Doc, 20 of them, like in one Google Doc. I put that Google Doc into ChatGPT. This is what I did to go from 35K, no, 55K to 135. Right, I actually joined a program. My cousin actually taught me. I joined a program to learn because I was studying for AWS administrator. Right, I learned AWS. I learned the basics. Right, and I learned experience from an AWS administrator perspective. But I was looking for jobs, and I kept on seeing cloud engineer. I was searching up AWS cloud administrator, but I kept on seeing AWS cloud engineer. And so what I did was I took those job descriptions, I put that into a Google Doc, 20 of the job descriptions. I put that Google Doc into ChatGPT and I said, tell me all of the problems a consistent problem that companies have, and tell me all of the information and the projects and experience I need to have to solve these problems. And guess what it did? It gave me the problems and it gave me literally the experience that I needed to know. Then, guess what I did? I asked ChatGPT, show me how to build it. And guess what I did? I built it. Then, what did I do? I practiced articulating myself to show the what I did from A to Z and the business impact. Why is this important? How did I save you money? How did I save you time? Why, what is, I understand your problem. Here's the solution: offer letter. And they have to like you. You have to be able to solve the problem that they have, right? You have to be able to do the job, and you have to be able to, they have to be able to like you. That's how to get offers. And this is not just me talking. This is coming from hiring managers that's hired me. So type of 1% in the chat if that makes sense. You guys with me? Type of 1% in the chat if that makes sense. Okay. How many of you guys want a bonus special? How many of you guys want a bonus? Type of two in the chat. If you guys want a bonus, I need at least like five, seven twos in the chat. I'm gonna give you guys a bonus. I have a good idea on AWS. I was studying to take the solutions architect. I actually thought about taking the solutions architect. My goal was to make money, invest it, and get out corporate. And at the time, I was like, yo, I could become more credible. I can get more offer letters, and you can get more interviews reaching out to you because you pass a criteria, right? Some jobs you need a solutions architect; it's required, but there's still a lot of jobs that you don't need. You just need experience. So I have the experience. So I was like, yeah, I don't care. All right. So I see you guys saying two, and so for me, like I wasn't, I wasn't. I see you guys hit my DMs. I'm trying to get you guys in the right spots. So my goal wasn't just to get certs and blah blah blah. I wanted to make money, invest it, and get out. And so I just focused on getting more jobs and then getting out of corporate. I don't know where his thing went. That's actually crazy. Oops. Yikes. So anyways, I'll figure that out later. All right, two. Nice. So oh, I've been on live for an hour and 36 minutes. Jesus Christ. I need some sleep. All right. So, what I'm going to give you guys is I'm not going to give you money. Right? I'm not I'm going to give you something more valuable only if you apply it. I'm not better than you. I'm not smarter than you. The only thing that I did was I took action and I started my journey earlier. What I did. And so like I've said this earlier in the live, but and I can't promise you guys anything. But what I can tell you is this. If you understand the problems that companies have, let's just say you want to be a security analyst or a cloud engineer or whatever the case may be. If you look up those jobs and if you look at those job descriptions, you don't even have to study them to try to figure out the problems. You can put those you can if the gift I want to give to you guys is just showing you the importance of actually taking action. Your life can literally change within the next 6 to 12 months. It can be quicker depending on how much time and energy you put into you. Like your life can, not only your life, but the people around you, the people that you love, that your life can dramatically change. I retired my mom, right? She doesn't have to work if she doesn't want to. Now she's Nigerian. She's going to do her own stuff. I can't change that. We're all workaholics. But what I want to give to you guys is if you're able to look, if you guys within the next 24 hours, I want to see who's going to take action and come back tomorrow. I want you to go to google.com and put in AWS Cloud Engineer jobs and get 20 job descriptions and put it into Google Doc. Then I want you to put that into ChatGPT and say, what are all the problems what are all of the common problems that these companies have? And it's real simple. It's real quick. You're not going to do anything too crazy. Come back tomorrow, and then I'm going to show you the next steps of what to do. The first step is you need to understand the problems that people have, and then it's real simple. You need to be able to solve it. And there's 50K problems, there's help desk problems, there's right? Six-figure problems like 130, 150, like cloud engineer, network engineer, cybersecurity. And then there is $500,000 problems. And then there is $1 million problems, right? People will pay you for $1 million, right? There's 10 million, there's 100 million. There's literally different levels of problems that you can solve. And if you understand how to solve them, you will be compensated for how big that problem is. And so I'm gonna go ahead and see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for joining. And my whole job is just to show you, what's possible out there in the world, and to kind of, push you guys in the right direction. So thank you for joining, and I'll see you in the next video. So Panday, I see you said how much is your program? It just depends on the level of support that you need, but we make it accessible for almost literally anybody. We don't just accept anybody into the program. It's somebody who is serious and willing to commit. You don't need to join my program. You can do YouTube University. You can do other programs. There's other programs out there. I'm never going to be the person that says join my program. But we do qualify people. We're looking for people who are that's committed, that already knows they want to change, and they're willing to put in the time and energy into the blueprint. Okay. And so if that's you, just DM me the word 1%, and we'll show you how to get started today. Okay. Well, that sounds so commercialized, but literally it's going to be tomorrow because my team is sleeping. And so hopefully that helps. Was this helpful for you guys? I want to just see if this was helpful, because it kind of helps me to know what to focus on. Would you guys like to keep this going? Like in terms of tomorrow. Was this helpful? Do you teach solutions architecture for Gen AI? I'm a product manager, so the right amount of technical knowledge. I don't teach. I mean, we do have solutions like we have different projects like that. I teach specifically cloud engineering, but cloud engineering, the solutions are like architecting designing and architecting a solution for businesses is some of the things that we do. But cloud engineering, you're actually implementing the solution. You're not just designing it on an architectural diagram. And so, but we don't use it for Gen AI. So we do use AI within our process of being able to make more money and work less. And so that's a whole different topic. And so, yes, motivates me. Thanks. I will take action. Nice, nice. I'm gonna actually get this. All right, cool. So thank you everybody for joining the live. Great content, Ty. We have yes, this motivates me. I will take action. We got a 1%. Um, we got a damn I farted. That's actually funny. But now she's responding to some stuff right here. Cool. Thank you. So now thank you everybody who joined the live, and we will be back tomorrow. See you guys on the next session. Have you ever thought about opening up a cloud firm or doing engineering for companies? It's actually what I'm doing right now. I'm actually in the process of doing that. Um, yeah, because I wanted to, that's a whole different topic. But I got to drop. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.